I never dreamed I would live here in the Rocky Mountains. You see, when I was in college, YouTube had just been invented. I didn't have a camera at the time, but I loved watching videos. And I was watching this truck driver. He would often put his camera on the dashboard and record while he was driving his rounds. And one of my favorite was one time when he drove through western Colorado on Interstate 70. And I really liked it when he took that route. Every time he would take that route, he would email me and say that, hey, tomorrow I'm going to do Interstate 70 again. And it always felt like a vacation for me, even though I was watching from home, right? Kind of like how we take vacations here in 2020, right? That was like a preview of that, right? This was 13 years earlier. So even before we knew how to take vacations virtually, I was doing it because I didn't have a driver's license at the time. I also had a big fear of flying because I didn't want to fly after 9/11. And I always wanted to come to the Rockies, but I never had the time. Not long after that, I was working on my PhD, and I really regret that for a long time in my life, I didn't realize that one can go out, quote unquote, on a date without a partner. I really didn't. As a result, I locked in. I treated every year like it was 2020 until 10 years earlier when I realized that 10 years ago when I realized that I could go out on a date alone. See, I would never imagine that I could go to a restaurant like that one over, come on, where's that? Okay, that one over there, or that one, or a bar, or even come out to vacation without a partner. I just didn't know that. I wish I could go back in time and fix that. I didn't realize that when I was in high school that you could go to the dance without a partner. I just never realized that. I mean, when I was working on my PhD, we had a number of presentations to make, thesis defense, and then the graduation. And every time I had one of those events coming up, I always frantically looked for somebody to hook up with, just because I didn't realize I could do those things alone, right? Some of my classmates were married, especially, right? There was a huge amount of pressure, and don't even get me started on how much pressure there is in the workplace when there's events. I'm so glad that we don't have any Christmas events. It is so awkward. You can't really not attend them either. It's not very good for your career either. And there's so much pressure to just randomly hook up with somebody just for that event. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. Just out of social pressure. It's not even out of personal issues anymore. But here in the Rockies, I don't get that sense. So I always wanted to come out here, but never had the time. You know, there's family commitments, and my family, I don't think they hate the Rockies, but they have other priorities, right? I have grandparents in Taiwan. They have other priorities for where to go. We have extended family members in California. And then I had the Computer Olympiad conferences. And then I would, for a time when I was living in Seattle, I was dating a girl in Rochester. And then for another time, another girl in Warsaw. And the Rockies just never made it to the top of the list. Well, in 2020, I can't do any of the other things, so here I am in the Rockies. I'm actually living here. I've been here for a month now. I spent some time in Missoula as well before this. I had to go home to Seattle because we went to phase 2, and there were some meetings at the office. I'm torn, though. I want to stay in phase 1, but so that I could stay here, but that means that people are probably getting sick and dying. I don't want that. I hope that we could just not get sick and die, but be extra cautious. That would be the, especially if we also reopen the international borders, right? There are other places I want to live for a couple months as well. Anyway, I can't believe it. Just 13 short years. What used to be only a curiosity on YouTube, now I'm living here.